So I'm Mike Donatelli. I'm the product director at Carbine Studios. We're working on Wildstar, and I'm here today to show you some high-level content in our game, stuff you might not have seen in the beta that we have going on right now. Our character that we're playing is a Chua. The race is Chua. He's an engineer class. You are a Dominion character, and what you've come here to do is you're coming here to protect the Ark ship. Apparently the Ark ship was actually attacked in orbit around space, and you're trying to protect it. So you and your faction have come here to defeat a new creature, something you've only learned out towards the end of the game called the Strain. You know, you've seen it, hinted about it throughout the game, but you've actually come here now to fight against it. So as you can see, the Strain, this weird kind of hive-like creature, has kind of infected a lot of the creatures that you may have run through other zones and seen before. Paul's doing quests, he's got a challenge running, he's got path missions that he's trying to do. He's a soldier, so Paul has a lot of combat missions that he's trying to handle as well as do his quest content. He's performing a holdout right now. Soldiers get holdouts quite often, but you know, we try to sprinkle in the other path content throughout the game. So he's actually doing a quest holdout. So if you like different kinds of holdouts, you will get a little bit of a different flavor of each path in the leveling quest content.
Bronze level awarded.
So now what you see in the upper right-hand side is a challenge. There's 3 minutes and 36 seconds left to complete the challenge, and we've already achieved a chance for a pretty decent chance for a good reward. It's kind of like a, you know, it's like a random chance, and the better you do during the challenge, the better of a chance you get, and then you get to actually choose what you want. So it's a lot of fun. It kind of breaks up, you know, the questing. So you're doing quests, you're doing your path missions. What you're looking at your screen right now is, if you can see, there's a slight red tint on the creatures. This creature is a very tough fight. As a matter of fact, I'm not necessarily sure if we can kill it, because it's rated for 2 people. We try to put some kind of visual effect on these creatures that are a little bit tougher because of the way our limited action set, our telegraph combat, it allows you to, you know, it allows you to kind of run up and do a lot of skill shots. It's definitely more action oriented than other MMOs, but we ran into the issue where we needed to make sure players weren't going to run smack dab into something that was going to eat his face. So we added this tint to pretty much all the pretty badass creatures, so we can make sure that you're, you know, well. So the deeper and deeper a player gets into the zone, again, as I said, it gets more corrupt. There's a little, again, this right here is a mission where a player gets to actually, it's kind of a logic puzzle, and if you can figure it out, you can actually start an interesting, I don't want to leave too much out of the bag, but if you actually are able to pull it off, you get an interesting combat experience. I wonder if we can pull it off. Yeah, why not? So there you go. Paul was able to, Paul Matson, folks, help me out running the show here, engineering. So yeah, he was able to activate this logic puzzle and spawn a holdout where he, and if he was a group of people, could actually go through here, and you know, there's some cool loot at the end of it if you find these things. We try to scatter these things throughout the game. You'll find these in little nooks and crannies throughout if you want to explore the area. So if you may recognize, the robot in the background is actually in our launch trailer back from 2011 that kind of was just, you know, there was a robot that had all these creatures, little robots inside of it, and kind of spilled out. So we definitely want to kind of pay homage to that and actually put it in the game. So this is our way to do that. As you can see, Paul's in the holdout. In the lower right-hand side of the screen, we have the UI for the holdout, which actually tells you how many waves are incoming. You know, we didn't try to punish you. There's like in between waves of these things, there may be a heal that drops that you can pick up and actually heal yourself a little bit. But that pretty much is the controller for it. You know, he knows he has at least one more wave to get through. That's right. These bots are trying to like build a giant robot behind him. So he's trying to stop them from getting to that cloud, and that cloud is building. So depending on how many things he stops, he still has to fight the robot, but it really depends on, you know, how well he did during the holdout, of how strong the creature will be when he fights him at the end. Where are you at, Paul? All right.
Quite a few of the bots got by.
There you go. Drops a quest item. Give yourself the quest, return it to the person, and get yourself some decent loot. Except Paul, if you want to zoom in, Paul, and take a look at yourself, Paul is wearing the the elite of elite gear, and even has what is that, artifact weapon? So he's definitely more powerful than your average bear, or in this case, Chua.
Catch you again, sure.
All right, so now, as we've gotten deeper and deeper into the zone, again, the Dominion came here, both factions have been coming here because the strain creatures have actually started to fire stuff into space, and actually, you know, your faction is becoming under attack. And what you're doing is you're coming out here to try to find out what's going on and stop it. So what we've done here is we've arrived at a wrecked Ark ship, the Fist of Azrion, I believe it's called. And this wrecked Ark ship, you know, was shot down, it crashed into the planet, and now, you know, the strain is kind of seeping into everything, and actually you're going to start running into strain corrupted faction characters that you will have to do battle against. So one of the things is you'll notice right now we like to do in our game is utilize three-dimensional space. I can see you're gonna. Oh, you cheated. Are you cheating, or is that
Once you hit the pad, you got
excellent? So Paul's gonna make use of the three-dimensional space here, try to find his objective, which is hacking these consoles. No, you should definitely not quit your day job. So what Paul's going to do is he's going to use these jump platforms, pretty much, you know, try to play in the three-dimensional space and get to his objective, which is hacking security consoles. Come on, Paul. Do Carbine proud, buddy. There you go. And a lot of the stuff that you learn, I mean, you know, we have a, you know, our character here is pretty buff, but one of the things you'll learn, or a lot of things you learn, is if you see the telegraphs there, those telegraphs, they increase in difficulty, in damage, in and how often. So there's a lot of different things you're going to learn, and then if you feel like you can take that further, that's when we go into the group areas, the group zones, and then, you know, dungeons and raids. So we have a whole system of how we kind of look at creatures, and the creatures are how we do it. So how how hard is a creature compared to a player, right? It helps us make it easier to balance for PvP and PvE. So we take a look at it, and the ones that have the red sheen on them are anywhere from 2 player characters strength to almost 5. So again, you'd have to actually select them to see how much. It's just we didn't want to make sure you weren't running into one and then it pasting you. So if you look, there's like this puzzle here where he's actually trying to activate power couplings to get together and then actually activate this console in the back. So if he does it right, it's great. If he does it poorly, it's going to throw him way up in the air and might throw him off the platform to his death. Like I said, again, as you go through the game, we try to teach you give you the tools. You know, we have these CSIs throughout the game, which are these little mini games that you get to do. This one is punishing if you don't get it, but you're level 50, and again, once you get to level 50, we're pretty liberal with the pain. So you're moving through, you're activating the power, and then you're actually going to, you get drawn through, and you're fighting the monsters the entire time. There you go, and Paul was able to turn the power on and see the wreckage throughout. Arc ships are pretty giant. It's how both factions actually got to the Elden homeworld, which is super far out on the edge of space. Yeah, as you can see now, it's like this infection is kind of raging through the ship, and you're trying to figure out a way to arrest this before it gets everywhere.